Hey, Amy Posner here, and I want to talk to you today about something that comes up fairly often, and that is when you are in a project and a client asks you to add something in that is not exactly your area of expertise. So I had someone in my mastermind come to me this morning because she was in a meeting, face to face in a Zoom meeting with a client who asked her for something that she doesn't deliver. So to set the scenario for you, she is a really seasoned, sophisticated, and experienced writer of help documents, help documents that are actually in human speak, make sense, are logical, and people can find what they need so that they're actually useful and valuable to the end user. Now, she was asked to do a deep analytical dive into the results of these docs. And her response to me was, I can do that at a surface level. I mean, I can put together a spreadsheet, I can look at certain things, but I can't do a deep analytical dive. It's not what I do. I said to her, and what I want to say to you is knowing exactly what you offer and what you don't, and making that part of your positioning, even in the moment on a call like that, is really helpful for you. And it's helpful for you to have thought about it first. So if you think about, what skills and services are adjacent to what you offer, and how can you fill that gap? For example, what I mean by that is, so I'm a copywriter. I don't design. I don't. I'm not good at it. It's a skill I wish I had, but I don't. So when someone brings up design, and now I've learned to bring it up before we even start a project, because I want to make sure that the expectations are clear, what I can and can't do. So if they need somebody who can do both or charges less so they can afford, two different people, then I want to get that on the table right away. What I say, and this is the positioning part, is, my focus is writing copy that gets results. Whenever I have time to study or to add a new skill set, I always add it in copy and not one of the adjacent services. Now, what I can tell you is I understand design and UX principles, and I very much want to be involved with whoever's designing, whether it's someone that you have already or it's someone I recommend. I want to talk with that person before I even start the project so that we can coordinate. And because honestly, that's going to do you a service, because you're not going to have to go back and forth between these two contractors, your copywriter and your designer. We can agree and disagree on the side and then come to you with how we're going to work. And that's a great, great service to them. And what I suggest and what I do is I have a list of people that I can work with at different levels, depending on, does someone need light design? Does someone need a web developer? What sort of system are they working in? And I know enough people that I can say, well, you know what? I have someone I can recommend to you. Really happy to make that introduction. And if it's a person I've worked with before, and it's someone that I've worked with before, and here's what I know about them. And if I haven't, I'll say, I hadn't worked with them before, but I know people who have, or I've heard this about them or that about them. I want to qualify because ideally I have a list of people who are, great and are going to show up, be reliable, and aren't going to embarrass me for having referred them. But, if they're not like, quote, under my auspices, I want to just be careful about, defining, what that relationship is, so I don't get into hot water later for what someone else does or doesn't do. But I also make it very clear to them that not only am I going to work with the designer, hand in hand, but that the design is more than likely, with weird exceptions, is going to be completed after the copy. And so what I want you to know is I actually want to see the copy once it's designed. And that's part of the coordination that I'd like to do with the designer. Because, and this is not to the client, this is an aside, I've seen people do crazy things, designers, things I consider crazy. I've seen them, lop off chunks of important copy to fit the space, for example, or to edit something because they don't like the way it looks. And that's just it's horrible. It can destroy the copy, it can destroy the results. And so it's really important to me to be involved in that process, but it's not something that I can do on my own. So I hope you see how positioning yourself and knowing exactly what you do and don't do can make it clear to the client. They're hoping that it's something that you do, perhaps, like in the case of the person I spoke about earlier. I'm sure they were hoping, we could, she can do the analytics as well, but that would be a nice to have, not a need to have. It's always nice if you can, talk to fewer people and have fewer things going on. But I don't think that it's ever an expectation. It's kind of like a could you, would you, do you know? And so they're not going to think less of you because you can't do something. They're going to think more of you because you're straightforward, direct, and honest, and also because you have a solution at hand. And so if you do have some people that you can go to, get a sense of like what they do, what their prices are, what their turnaround time is, how available they are, so that you'll have some people that you can refer to them and some people that you can work with that will solve this problem for you. So if you would like to be notified when these videos drop, you can click the bell. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon.